Good day, everybody. I'm Carlo Eugeni, lecturer in audiovisual translation at the University of Leeds, UK, intellectual outputs leader of the Erasmus Plus LTA project, and live parliamentary subtitler at the Rome Capitol. In the next 15 minutes, I will talk about live parliamentary subtitling, a new discipline at the crossroads of accessibility studies and reporting studies. To do so, I have divided this presentation into 5 sections. The product of live parliamentary subtitling, so as to immediately give an idea of what the topic is. The process of live parliamentary subtitling and the different professional figures involved. The function of live parliamentary subtitling. An analysis of the strategies used to come to the end result. And finally, an assessment of the quality of the end result. Section 1. The product. According to Gottlieb's taxonomy of translation modes, live parliamentary subtitling is diamesic translation performed in real time. Considered at the crossroads of live reporting and live subtitling, it differs from both in terms of product, process, and function. As you will see from this video, the product is more similar to conference subtitling, also called speech-to-text interpreting.
Possiamo quindi proseguire con l'ordine dei lavori. Avevamo appena ascoltato l'illustrazione dell'assessore Lemetti alla delibera 149 relativa alla modifica del regolamento Tari e eravamo in procinto di aprire la discussione generale. Quindi apriamo la discussione generale. Ci sono interventi sulla delibera? Nessuno?
Section 2. The process. The process is more complex and follows this workflow. While the members of the Assembly speak and sign language interpreters, if any, translate, the machine records the audiovisual input, sends it to the ASR software program, which processes it, and the respeaking team produces the target text. There are 2 modes to produce the target text: respeaking mode and ASR mode. In case speakers clearly speak, the machine transcribes their speech and a live editor corrects it before the text is aired, as in this video. In case speakers do not speak clearly, the respeaker steps in and respeaks, and the live editor keeps correcting the output before it is aired, as in this other video.
Che si dicano bugie, non è vero che non c'era un bilancio. Prima dell'amministrazione Raggi c'è stato un periodo buio, poi magari ce lo spiegheranno meglio i colleghi di centrodestra sotto Alemanno. Lì è vero, non c'era il bilancio. Noi l'abbiamo denunciato, tanto è che l'assessore Lemetti qui presente potrà ridarci copia a tutti, maggioranza e opposizione, del bel grafico portato in aula dove si vedeva ogni anno quali erano i mesi di programmazione.
Section 3. The function. Concerning function, live parliamentary subtitling is closer to parliamentary reporting. Besides producing subtitles for real-time access, the machine also synchronizes the subtitles with the video and produces text which will be reused not only as recorded subtitling, but also as a report to be accessed as such or for search engine optimization purposes. Section 4. Strategic Analysis. The strategic model of discourse comprehension developed by Van Dijk and Kinch in 1983 explains how spoken language is understood. By adapting it, it is possible to claim that live parliamentary subtitler understands the source text by adopting the following strategies: form strategies, content strategies, textual strategies, procedural strategies, and general knowledge strategies. After having strategically understood the source text, the live parliamentary subtitler adopts production strategies to come to the target text. By adapting the model proposed by Kohn and Kalina in 1996 for simultaneous interpreting, it can be said that in parliamentary live subtitling, professionals follow these strategies: inferencing, whereby the speaker anticipates linguistic material; memorizing, whereby the speaker postpones linguistic material; editing strategies, either before going on air by adding glossary to the vocabulary of the machine, or while being on air, either avoiding possible mistakes through synonymy or paraphrase, or by correcting mistakes before they are aired. Finally, exit strategies, or 3Gs, are those strategies which are adopted in extreme conditions to compensate for information loss. This can be done through generalization strategies, whereby the speaker uses more general synonyms or repeats previously mentioned content. Another exit strategy is the Gordian knot strategy, also called cut and knit strategies, whereby the speaker omits bits of a sentence but manages to produce a grammatically correct and coherent sentence. And the last exit strategy is called Garwood strategy, and I named it after my simultaneous interpreting teacher, who used to repeating this all the time: when in doubt, leave it out. These strategies have almost all been found in the analysis of the first 30 minutes of a session of the Rome Capitol. In particular, 2 instances and 2 alleged instances of inferencing strategies were found, especially when the speaker says something repeated, logical, or ritual. 13 instances of memorizing were also found, 9 of which with the same speaker, who is used to continuously embedding clauses. Concerning editing strategies, these could only be appreciated because I could record what happens in the respeaking booth. 7 words were added to the vocabulary before the session started: all names of streets, neighborhoods, and taxes. 3 times the speaker either reformulated or omitted a difficult utterance, and 28 times mistakes were corrected, either by the speaker repronouncing the correct word, or by the editor typing or selecting the correct word, or by both, with the speaker typing the correct word and the editor selecting it, thus replacing the wrong one on the fly. Concerning exit strategies, 5 generalizations were found, with the speaker either reformulating or repeating previous content to finish a sentence. 3 Gordian knot strategies were also found, with the speaker or the editor cutting allegedly useless, meaningless, or not coherent or not understood linguistic material. And finally, 4 instances of Garwood or when in doubt, leave it out strategies were found. If we compare the strategies adopted in respeaking mode with the ones adopted in ASR mode, we realize that data differ more or less unexpectedly. While it is quite obvious that human strategies like inferencing, memorizing, peri-editing, and generalizing are not performed in ASR mode, we notice that post-editing strategies are adopted more extensively in ASR mode, and this is encouraging for the profession because it means that the speaker still performs better than the machine. More interestingly, we notice that exit strategies like the Gordian knot or cut and knitting strategy and the Garwood, or when in doubt leave it out strategy, are used both in re-speaking mode and in ASR mode. The reason is to be found in the editor, who may have difficulties accepting the machine output and consequently omits more or less linguistic material. Section 5. Quality Assessment. After having adopted 2001 Kurz model for the assessment of quality in simultaneous interpreting, it can be said that live parliamentary subtitling as a product can be assessed after the following criteria. Legibility, which means that the subtitle space allows for effortless reading. Cohesion, which means that subtitles are cohesive and coherent. Consistency, which means that subtitles say the same as the speaker, and this can be assessed through the NER model, the ERA model, and the WIRA model. Completeness, which means that subtitles are as informative as a speech. Correct grammar, which means that subtitles grammar mirrors the grammar of the source text. Correct terminology, which means that subtitles lexis mirrors the words of the source text. And finally, readability, which means that subtitles are quantitatively and qualitatively in line with reading standards provided by the client, which can influence the number of characters per minute, punctuation, and delay. If we compare the quality of live parliamentary subtitles produced with the re-speaking plus editing mode and that produced with the ASR plus editing mode, we will notice differences in all the aspects which have not been said before the job. In particular, in terms of legibility, re-spoken subtitles tend to be less dense than automatic subtitles. Moreover, they seem to be more cohesive and coherent, slightly less consistent, and strikingly less complete, in line with Pagano 2020 results. Interesting results also concern correctness. Grammar in re-spoken subtitles mirrors less the one of the source text compared to automatic subtitles. On the contrary, terminology in re-spoken subtitles mirrors more the one of the source text compared to automatic subtitles. Finally, readability shows that delay in re-spoken subtitles is 1.8 seconds higher compared to automatic subtitles, in line, again, with Pagano 2020. To conclude, in this presentation we have talked about live parliamentary subtitling, a new discipline at the crossroads between accessibility and reporting. In particular, we have compared the two modes to produce live parliamentary subtitles in terms of strategies used during the process and quality of the product. Concerning strategies, interesting results concern post-editing strategies, which are more adopted in ASR plus editing mode, thus confirming that humans still perform better than machines, and exit strategies, which seem to be equally adopted in both modes. As for quality, re-spoken subtitles appear to be less dense, consistent, and complete, and mirror the grammar of the source text less compared to ASR subtitles. At the same time, re-spoken subtitles are more cohesive and coherent and mirror the source text terminology more, but are also more delayed. Here is a list of the references used in this presentation. For further information and for any question you may have about this presentation, don't hesitate and ask. I will be happy to try and provide you with as much information as I can. For future contacts, please reach me at c.eugeni@leeds.ac.uk. I thank you so much for your attention.